The Galactic Council had rejected us. Again that I sat in the observation deck of our dying colony ship, the Verith Prime, watching the stars blur past like they were mocking us. My name is Kiro, and I belong to the Velkan species. A race that, according to every pompous civilization in this corner of the galaxy, was too weak, too primitive, too pathetic to deserve a chance. Hey, Kiro. My best friend Mara slid into the seat next to me, her violet eyes dimmed with exhaustion. Still brooding? Because that is working out fantastically for us. I shot her a look. What else should I be doing? Celebrating? Our ship has maybe 3 weeks of life support left. The Xandros Empire called us parasites. The Corvian Alliance literally laughed during our presentation. Yeah, well. Mara shrugged, pulling up a holographic display. Commander Thel just received something interesting. A transmission from a species we have never heard of before. My antennae perked up despite my sour mood. Another rejection letter? How creative. Actually, no. She grinned, that dangerous smile that always meant trouble. They are inviting us to their home system. They call themselves humans. I blinked. Humans? What kind of ridiculous name is that? The kind that might save our lives, you ungrateful jerk. Mara punched my shoulder lightly. Commander Thel is setting course now. Apparently, these humans heard about our situation through some back-channel communications. They want to help. Nobody wants to help, Mara. I stood up, pacing the deck. The galaxy does not work that way. Every species we have encountered wants something in return. Resources, labor, technology, territory. What could we possibly offer that they would want? I don't know, maybe they are just nice. I laughed. Actually laughed. Nice? In this galaxy? You have been breathing recycled air for too long. But 3 days later, as we approached the Sol system, I started to question everything I thought I knew. The human fleet that met us was not aggressive. No weapons locked onto our hull. No demands for immediate surrender or tribute. Instead, a calm voice came through our communications array. Verith Prime, this is Captain Elena Frost of the Earth vessel Odyssey. Welcome to Sol. We have been expecting you. Commander Thel, our grizzled leader who had seen more rejections than successful missions, actually smiled. I had never seen him smile before. It was unsettling. Captain Frost, he responded, his voice steady despite the tension in the room. We appreciate your hospitality. Our situation is dire. We seek temporary refuge while we search for a permanent home. There was a pause. Then Captain Frost spoke again, and I swear I could hear amusement in her tone. Commander, we are not offering temporary refuge. We are offering you a home. Permanently. If you want it. The bridge fell silent. Every Velkan present stared at the communications panel like it had just grown a second head. That is. Commander Thel cleared his throat. That is extraordinarily generous, Captain. What are your terms? Terms? Now the human definitely sounded amused. I guess the term is, don't be jerks. Help out when you can. Maybe share some of your culture with us. We love learning new things. Oh, and try our pizza. That is non-negotiable. Mara leaned over to me. What is pizza? How should I know? The Odyssey guided us to Earth, and what I saw through the viewport made my breath catch. The planet was blue and green and white, swirling with clouds and oceans and life. So much life. And orbiting it, dozens of stations, ships, satellites, all buzzing with activity. It is beautiful, Mara whispered. A smaller human vessel docked with ours, and soon we met Captain Frost in person. She was tall, with dark skin and sharp eyes that seemed to see right through our desperate facade. Behind her stood her crew, a diverse group of humans in various shapes and colors. "Welcome aboard," Captain Frost said, extending her hand. Commander Thel stared at it uncertainly before Mara elbowed him and he shook it awkwardly. "I know you have been through hell. The Galactic Council has a reputation for being, let's say, exclusive. That is a polite way of saying they are elitist monsters," I muttered. Captain Frost grinned at me. "I like you. What is your name?" "Kiro." "Well, Kiro, you are absolutely right. They are elitist monsters. But here is the thing about humans." She leaned in, her eyes sparkling with something dangerous and exciting. "We were rejected too. About 200 years ago when we first reached out to the galaxy. They called us violent, unpredictable, too emotional. Said we would never amount to anything." "What did you do?" Commander Thel asked quietly. "We said, screw them." Captain Frost straightened up. "Built our own civilization. Made our own alliances. And now? Now we are strong enough that they cannot ignore us. And we have decided to extend that same chance to every species they have cast aside." My heart was pounding. "Why?" "Because everyone deserves a chance." Captain Frost smiled. "And because, honestly, the outcasts make the best friends. So what do you say? Want to stick it to the galaxy together?" Commander Thel looked at me, then at Mara, then at every Velkan on the bridge. Slowly, smiles began spreading across faces that had forgotten how to hope. "Yes," Commander Thel said firmly. "Yes, we do." 6 months later, I stood in the middle of New Velkan Settlement, a thriving community on Earth's northern continent, and wondered if I had accidentally died and gone to some bizarre afterlife. "Kiro, move your butt," Mara shouted from across the construction site. "These support beams are not going to install themselves." I jogged over, grabbing my end of the massive metal frame. Working alongside us were 3 humans, Jake, Lucia, and someone named Benny who never stopped talking. So then I told my brother. Benny continued his story while effortlessly lifting his section. I said, "Dude, if you think Velkan engineering is complicated, wait until you see their music." Kiro played me something last week that literally made me cry. In a good way. It was just a traditional morning song, I protested, feeling my face flush purple. "It was beautiful, man." Benny insisted. "Humans have nothing like that." "Well, except maybe opera. But opera makes everyone cry, so that does not count." Lucia laughed, her strong arms guiding the beam into place. "Benny cries at everything. Last week he cried watching a commercial about soup. It was a very emotional soup commercial. This was my life now. Banter, laughter, actual friendship with beings from another species. The humans had given us land, resources, technology, and somehow, most incredibly, they had given us respect. "Hey, Kiro." A familiar voice called out. Captain Frost, now Ambassador Frost, approached with Commander Thel. Both wore expressions that made my stomach tighten. "What happened?" I asked immediately. Frost's smile was sharp as a blade. "The Galactic Council just sent a delegation to Sol. They want to discuss our status as a sovereign system." "Let me guess," Mara said, wiping sweat from her forehead. "They are not happy about us?" "Oh, they are furious." Commander Thel actually looked pleased about this. "Apparently, we have violated some ancient protocol by accepting refuge from a non-council species. They are demanding we leave Earth and submit to council authority for reassignment." My blood went cold. We cannot go back out there. The other colonies barely survived the journey here. The younglings, the elderly, they would not make it. "Nobody is going anywhere," Frost said firmly. "The council can take their protocols and shove them into a black hole. But they are sending their delegation in 3 days, and it is going to get ugly. They will try to intimidate, threaten, maybe even attempt a show of force." So what do we do? I felt panic rising in my chest. Jake stepped forward, cracking his knuckles. We show them what happens when you mess with Earth and her allies. The next 3 days were frantic. Humans and Velkans worked together, preparing not for war, but for something far more devastating. A presentation. When the Council ships arrived, massive and gleaming and radiating superiority, they were met by a combined human-Velkan fleet. Small, yes. But confident. The Council delegates materialized in the meeting hall, 3 species I recognized immediately. The towering Drachner, the sleek Quillith, and the ancient Morpheus. They looked at our assembled group with barely concealed disgust. Humans, the Drachner delegate, Corvin, rumbled. You harbor refugees without Council approval. This is a violation of galactic law. Ambassador Frost stood, and I had never seen a human look so dangerous while smiling. Ambassador Corvin, with all due respect, which is none, we do not recognize Council authority over our system. We applied for membership 2 centuries ago. You rejected us, remember? Called us too primitive? The Quillith delegate hissed. You were not ready. And yet, here we are. Frost activated a holographic display. In the past 6 months, Velkan-human cooperation has produced 17 new technologies, including a faster-than-light communication system that makes your current network look like tin cans connected by string. We have developed agricultural techniques that have increased food production by 40%. And most impressively, we have created a society where 2 species, completely different in biology and culture, live in actual harmony. Impossible, Morpheus whispered, their ancient eyes widening. Watch, Frost commanded. The display showed our settlement. Showed Velkans and humans working together, laughing together, creating together. It showed our combined school where human children and Velkan younglings learned side by side. It showed the festival we had thrown last month, where both cultures shared food, music, stories. It showed something the Galactic Council had never managed in 10,000 years of existence. True cooperation. The Council maintains order, Corvin argued, but his voice lacked conviction. The Council maintains exclusion, Commander Thel stood now, his voice ringing clear. You rejected us because we were weak. But humans saw potential. They saw equals. And together, we have become something neither of us could have achieved alone. Mara stepped forward, holding a small device. This is a gift, ambassadors. A portable medical scanner that can diagnose and treat 70% of known diseases across multiple species types. Created by Velkan bioengineers and human doctors. We are offering it to the galaxy. Free. No strings attached. The Council delegate stared at the device like it might explode. Why? Morpheus finally asked. I spoke up, surprising myself. Because we remember what it feels like to be cast aside. And because humans taught us that strength is not about standing above others. It is about lifting each other up. The meeting ended without resolution, but as the Council ships departed, I saw something in Morpheus's ancient face. Respect. Maybe even shame. That night, our entire community gathered in the central plaza. Humans and Velkans, celebrating not victory, but possibility. Think they will leave us alone? Mara asked, leaning against my shoulder. Probably not, I admitted. But I think we just changed something. Showed them a different way. Jake appeared with plates of pizza, finally keeping that non-negotiable promise. To being rejected by the galaxy and finding something better. To humanity. Commander Thel raised his glass. To friendship. Frost countered, and I, Kiro of the Velkans, formerly of a dying colony ship, now of Earth, raised my own glass and shouted, to proving them all wrong. The stars above us sparkled with infinite possibilities, and for the first time in my entire life, I knew we belonged somewhere. Not because we were accepted by the galaxy, but because we had found beings who chose to accept us anyway. That made all the difference.